Well, a good Saturday morning to you all. This is Bobby Lee from Hurricane Creek Farms, coming to you on what looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. To kind of recap a bit since our last video, I had an odd week as far as my work schedule, so it has been, I think, 5 days since we filmed anything, which is a little longer than usual. But we've had a bunch of rain, I think right at 4 inches here at home. I'm not even sure, locally, some people have gotten a lot more than that. And so our hay that we baled in the last video, I guess, you can see the tractor is still hooked up to the rake. Things have gone like it should have. That tractor should be hooked up to the baler, and we got all that hay baled. Well, we did not. We were gonna bale that hay on Wednesday. Well, on Tuesday, there was about a 10% chance of rain, and that materialized into about 1.5 inches, which as soon as that happened, we knew we were in trouble because there was a bunch of rain in the forecast for Thursday and Friday. Those rain chances also materialized. And so, 4 inches of rain later, as my dad told me yesterday, that hay's gonna be really clean now that it's been washed multiple times. But all jokes aside, we do need to get that hay up. It's frustrating. Same farm, same hay fields that got wet the first cutting. So it's gonna be the third cutting of that hay before we get anything of any quality. One saving grace this time is it wasn't real good. We never got it fertilized. So I'm thankful that we didn't get it fertilized now. That would have been kind of a waste. Yeah, and to look at it on the bright side, that was 10 acres of hay that got wet. We got another 40 acres of hay, 150 or so acres of pasture that all benefited from the rain. All the guys, corn and soybean, cotton guys, thankful. Maybe didn't need that much rain, but anyway, we're gonna get things checked out. Yeah, see if we had any significant damage. We were without power until sometime around midnight, so we'll see if we got any. Don't see anything right here around the barn, but I know in our area there were places that had a lot of tree and wind damage kind of thing. Oh, I also should mention too, a little teaser on the tractor update. We should have a nice little surprise for you guys here just within a couple hours. So as you probably can gather by the fact that we're hooking it up, feed truck did come this week, got the mobile bin filled up. Of course, got the other bin filled up. I actually went ahead and had them put a little feed in the creep feeder. That's one more thing I gotta put on the to-do list. As muddy as it is, and as much as we'd like to get that hay up today, which will not happen, I don't know that we'll get it up tomorrow. Maybe the next day. Now, the one good thing, I don't think there's any rain in the forecast, or of any significance anyway, for the next 7 to 10 days. So the hay will one day be dry. I don't know how moldy it'll be by then, what good shape it'll be in, but today's Saturday, single digit chances all the way to Wednesday. Into next week we get it to like a 15% chance, but yeah, basically for the next 10 days, there's no rain in the forecast, nothing more than a 15% chance at the highest. So, we'll get the hay dry. If we may get some more hay cut, like middle of next week, not right now. It's too muddy to be in a field anyway. Yeah, as I sit here and think, we've got a bunch of stuff to do today that won't even involve the thing I want to do the most, which is finally get that hay up. So anyway, we're gonna head up the road, take this feed up there, check those calves. And just to give you an example of how hard the wind obviously blew and how hard it was raining, all my shoes and boots that I keep just here inside the garage are soaking wet. I got to looking and I was like, I didn't leave those outside. Now they're all soaked. My leather boots there. this bunch is eager to get a little feed this morning. Yeah, as we drive down here, I mean, naturally, the more we drive around, the more storm damage we see. I didn't see anything just major, like we're not talking like houses blown away or anything. The trees down, so we're gonna need to do some surveying of fences at some point this weekend. Doesn't seem to be quite as rough, you know, closer, you know, we're just a little north of home, kind of this direction. But anyway, what'd y'all think? Did it get a little hairy kind of mid-afternoon yesterday? They're saying shut up and feed us. All right, I can do that. I can do that. Nosy. Wait your turn. Hey. Hey, come on now. Come on now. Hey. These poor heifers are starving to death. I mean, the grass, I mean, it's only belly deep on them. I mean, they're just about to starve. Poor things. So yeah, anybody out there looking for some bred heifers, which we don't know how many of them are bred just yet, we have a very good disposition set here. And we're just feeding them a little bit like this every day to keep them calm. So they're mostly grass fed. Anyway, I'm gonna have to put the camera down, pick up some buckets, and get them fed before they just trample me to death. 204 has lost its identification. Actually, I think I see who it is over there, which that's one of our homegrown calves with that number. So, not sure. Yep, heifer there. Yeah. Hey, you lost an earring. What's that all about? So, but because we conveniently found it laying right there in the mud, when we get them up here in probably the next month or so to preg test them, we'll pop that right back in. So, oh my goodness. Yeah, I guess we just need to get this unhooked. So thankfully that doesn't seem to be as much damage down here. I got somebody I got to meet here soon, possibly about that surprise. And so don't have time to do a lot of fence checks or anything. Oh, we do need to spray for flies though. I almost forgot about that. Yeah, as annoying as it is to get hay wet like that, again, a relatively small amount of hay, and an overall grand scheme of things, we've got a lot more ground that really benefited from it. I mean, this grass is knee deep on me, and that is just about everywhere. Where if this continues, which of course it could get dry at any point, which it looks like, and again, I'm kind of thankful for it, going to get a little drier over these next few days. You know, it may not rain again for another 2 months, and then we would be in bad shape. But yeah, a lot to be thankful for. These heifers and a few steers mixed in there look really good. You know, fingers crossed that you know, when we preg test them, we're gonna have, you know, the vast majority of them bred. Should have some really nice, you know, bred heifers to offer for sale this fall. But yeah, rambled enough. Let's get this bin unhooked and head on up the road. Knew it was gonna roll back just a bit. We got this wheel scotched. It's a lot of weight on it. Just a little bit of a downhill slope right here. But these poor calves just starving to death, which, hey, I made certain we got the door pinned shut, because I know y'all seen where I did not do that. That's why there's a big patch right here where there's nothing growing. Because we spilled, or they spilled, my fault because I left the door open, or unlatched, it wasn't open, several 100 pounds of feed. But y'all eat some grass and gain some weight, all right? Okay, back home. It wasn't necessarily my next task we had to get done, but the cows all right up here. think we're gonna go ahead and try to call them on up and see if we can get the 3 bulls pulled out of there. I guess the bad news is I see a couple of cows just in the last 24 hours have been in heat, so which, I mean, they got an opportunity to have been bred, in this last 24 hours or so. But hopefully we don't see a lot of more activity like that out of these cows after pull them off. Fingers crossed those heifers up the road. We had one heifer, I believe it was number 12, that just like 2 days after we pulled the bull out of there, she was in heat. But since then, I hadn't really seen much activity like that. So hopefully, the vast majority of them are bred. And then same thing here at home. But we'll get a bucket of feed, go down here and see if we can call them up. Got a case in point about cow in heat coming right down there. It's actually one of the few cows with the name. That is Woolly Bear, as the kids named her. She was a bottle calf about, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago. I'd have to look back. Got 2 of the bulls in hot pursuit, and I hope she gets bred back. She's a really good cow. I mean, she was a bottle calf. She's as gentle as she can be. Good news, with her being that gentle, she'll come right in here and bring them with her. The 3rd bull is right there staring at us, so need to get them in here, and they'll join the 2 compadres over here. Let's see if we can get that checked off the to-do list. Come on! Woo! Now, yeah, the 3rd bull has recognized, oh yeah. So, yeah, if she'll cooperate, I believe all 3 of them will follow her right in here. Things will go relatively as planned. The other cow that has been in heat is the old Tiger Stripe Brayford cow, number 536, the one that the kids and maybe most of you better know as the cow of death. One that can have a real bad attitude when she gets a new calf on the ground. So if she didn't get bred back, it wouldn't be nearly as heartbreaking. I mean, she's always been on the list of possible, cull cows because of that disposition. But up until, now, she's always gotten bred and always raises a real good calf. So, yeah. Woolly Bear, you're doing the job. Bringing the boys to the yard. The feed trough is full of water. All right, now. God dang. Of course, now we're gonna have a bullfight over her. Oh, Lord have mercy. Or just a bullfight in general. Oh my gosh. Well, you can see we got a little storm damage on the barn back there. Maybe a situation where the bulls, between the bulls and the storm. Yeah. All right, I need to get out of here before I get hurt. Yeah, I worry just a little about, are they gonna tear the place apart? Which, leaving the 5 bulls up together anyway, that was always a risk. But if we can get it to where the cows aren't, up here, for them to fight over. But if we find out with the bulls back in the spring, they'll be idiots whether cows are involved or not. So, and now that all the bulls are pulled, got 2 bulls that are headed to the sale barn. Of course, the one Angus bull that's been up that had the penis injury, and then this Brangus bull right here has had just some prepuce issues. I don't know that it totally renders him incapable of breeding. He's certainly in much better shape than the other bull, but we don't need that 3rd bull here at home. 2 would have been plenty. I actually had bought him to go to my dad's herd, and they decided they didn't want him, didn't need him. This also means I think we're gonna let Smokey go out to pasture with the with the cow herd, and that's where she ought to be. You know, just get her kind of off the feed bill as far as having to feed her every day. Trick will be her staying in the pasture and not figuring out a way to get in my backyard. But anyway, we'll leave them to it. We'll get Woolly Bear out of there here in just a bit. But yeah, I'd really like for, you know, they had a couple hours of bedroom time to allow her to be sure she got bred back. I would really like that, because she's on the short list of cows that it's just like, man, that you really, really, really want to be sure it gets bred. But anyway. What do we have coming there? That might be our surprise that we were hoping to get into this video. What do we have over there, Willis? A new tractor and what?
And it's littler, so we can't drive it through the mud, or it'll get mud into it.
Okay, so it's a new tractor and it's littler, and yes, that is exactly right. It's newer and smaller than the 135, so it is a Kubota M4 071. So it's a I think actually engine horsepower maybe like 73, but essentially 70 horse tractor. What do you think, babe?
Looks nice.
It's just what you wanted.
I wouldn't want to mess her up. She looks so pretty.
Well, that's what Willis has already said. We cannot drive this one through the mud. Yeah, this is the one for you to drive.
So little, you know.
Too bad it does not drag my arena.
Well, you got the Pioneer for that.
How about I should say disc it, really?
Well, you can't pull a disc in the arena.
I know,
anyway.
but I need something to disc up those lovely weeds because we're in the south.
Well, here's the thing. You've got like 4 inches of sand and then it's gravel. A disc will go way deeper than
There's
that.
got to be something else besides.
We can rig you up something, but yeah, we don't want a disc. We don't want anything to really turn over that much ground. But yes, needed a smaller tractor to take the place of the 4030. Of course, the advantages of this one over the 4030, much newer, theoretically more reliable, more capable. Willis knows where the horn is. Went ahead. We weren't going to get the loader on it. That was kind of a last minute. They, the dealer, should give them a shout out. First Choice Farm and Lawn. Of course, it says Jonesboro on there. Actually came from their, I don't know if they call it the Eads store or Memphis store, but the closest store to us. But they've been great to deal with. Also, who we bought that Woods Batwing mower from, and maybe the only 2 real purchases we've made from them. But if you're anywhere in the Mid-South, they've got dealerships all over West Tennessee. Of course, one in Arkansas, one I believe in Mayfield, Kentucky. But yeah, been great to deal with. My buddy Craig, salesman with them, that hooked us up. But oh yeah, they even gave us some hats. Good deal. Or maybe you buy the hats and you get the tractor for free. Is that how it works?
No.
But
A hat, a knife, koozies.
Okay, it's a hitch pin. But yeah, we're eager to try it out. I wish we could get in the hayfield with it today, because we're gonna immediately unhook the rake from that tractor. Kind of my primary jobs for this one. We'll put the disc mower on it. We'll do our mowing with it. We'll do our raking with it. You know, as far as hayfield, that'll allow us to leave the 135 just hooked up to the baler. And so, yeah, doing a few more jobs than what we were doing with the 4030. But y'all are gonna get to see plenty more of that one in the coming days. And actually, I do need to get the creep feeder moved and out to pasture for these calves. So that may be the first job that we get it to do.
I would just err on the side of caution here. He's found the lights and all kinds of things, so you're about to have a dead battery if you don't turn those lights off.
Yeah, probably ought to get the kids out of there. I literally have not even set foot in this tractor yet. I sat in one they had on their lot a month or so ago. But yeah, the kids have been in it now more than I have. But
is Smokey down here?
Yeah, oh yeah, we can update that. Smokey, we officially turned her out to pasture with the rest of the cow herd just a little while ago. Now, my expectation is that she's probably gonna want to stay up here rather than go, you know, on out to pasture, especially once we move them back. I just don't want her in our yard.
It's a good thing.
But who am I kidding? I gotta get in here and show it off. This one does have buddy seat with my little buddies over there. That is important to us. Gotta figure out. They, of course, immediately, you know, pulled it down. Let me see if I can figure out how to fold it up. Probably just a two-hand job. There we go. Fold it down. Get in here, like Kaylin said, be sure the lights aren't on. But for like 95% of what we do on the farm, we don't need a 135 horsepower tractor.
Daddy, look.
So, Kimber's hiding in the bucket. We got parking brake on there. 12 speed, 6 with the high and the low. Yeah, we were down to either this one or believe the M7060, which is, they're nearly identical horsepower, but this model, slightly bigger cab, which gives you the option of the buddy seat, comes standard with like 2 remotes, a little bigger frame, just, and it was of course just a little more money, but felt like it would, you know, certainly it's going to hold that value too, you know. So if we did just turn around and decide we didn't like it after a little while. And yeah, of course we asked, well, why didn't we buy, you know, a used one? And that was my first thing. It's like, let's, you know, when I reached out to Craig, it's like, find me a good used one. Well, right now, you can get 0% financing on these. And, you know, not to bore you with all the financial details, but, you know, you buy a used piece of equipment, you know, the standard interest rates right now, like, my gosh, unless you find just a, you know, steal of a good deal on a used one, which is hard to do right now. Yeah, it's hard to justify paying that 7-8% interest. But anyway, we'll get her out and get her, you know, tested out here. Probably here in just a little while. Certainly in the coming days. Let's take her on her maiden voyage. Let's crank her up.
What would happen if it blow down?
Well, it's going to blow the exhaust out.
Where's the air coming from?
The air conditioning.
Where? What's air conditioning? Which one?
4.2 hours on this machine. Yeah, a little bit surreal to have a machine this
Daddy,
new.
I found this on
Yep, that is the federal and California emissions control systems, because Californians, of course, have to be special. I don't have a cup with me yet, but I will give Kubota a shout out, because I give them such grief for the terrible cup holders and the tractor like that model, the M135.
Well, we don't even got cup holders in here.
We do. We have one right here. We have one right here.
And we
Got to try them out first, but
even-
I can already look at them and tell they're going to be much better than the ones in that tractor. The ones in that one are just so shallow. It's like, what are you even going to do with this?
You can also hook a trailer up.
Drop it in there. Here, watch. There.
Yeah.
Just got to work it around. All right. Let's take the jack off. Then we'll go put this thing to work for the first time. Moving the creek feeder. All right. All right, will you go open the gate for me?
The black one?
Yep. Got the gate open for me?
Uh-huh.
And that is why farmers have children. So we have people to get out and open gates for us. And one day, drive tractors for us. This may be the first tractor you really get to drive and put to work.
Why?
Which will go to show you how
Oh yeah,
spoiled.
because down the pedals are way down deep in that one.
Oh, the other
and
one
this
is-
one, and this
Look.
one.
It'll just go to show you how spoiled this generation is, because the first tractor I ever really drove was of course, an open station. It was a 5000 Ford, which cool tractor. I have excellent memories of driving that. You know, as a kid, teenager, whatever I was. But yeah, you're gonna be, well, no more hours than we put on a tractor. You're gonna be driving a tractor with just a couple hundred hours on it, and you know, cab, air conditioned, radio, the works.
How do the cows get in there?
Well, come here. The baby calves walk right through here and then go in there and eat, and the big cows can't get in there, because if the big cows go in there, they steal it all.
Oh yeah.
Yes, this design allows the babies to eat, but not the adult animals. We don't creep feed year round. One, it would get very expensive. Two, we just don't need to.
That's how the babies barely get any hay.
Yeah, and we typically implement it with weaning, because obviously when they no longer have their mother, it's nice for them to get a little extra to eat. We'll be weaning here. We're probably a couple of months away still, maybe even longer than that. But go ahead, you know, not gonna hurt anything. Go ahead and let them do it. We didn't put a whole lot of feed in here. It'll take them a little while to figure it out, because none of these babies have ever seen this. They have no idea what it is. They'll figure it out over the next few days. And it seems like this is becoming like a regular segment on the Hurricane Creek Farms YouTube channel, but let's survey the storm damage. So that tree broke off, broke the top out of this one here. Miraculously, even though those are right on the fence row, they missed the fence. So I'm gonna go ahead and go out on a limb and say we're gonna have some damage somewhere that didn't miss the fence. Willis said it smelled like something dead, and so immediately, you know, I recognized it about the same time he did. Your heart sinks, you're like, we have a dead animal back here. And we do have a dead animal, but thankfully, just a possum. So yeah, sorry, this should have been a few more. Woo, it does stink.
Possums look like giant mouses.
You know what? I think you're pretty accurate there. Possums look like a giant mouse, or mouses, as Willis would say. Here's a little pocket with multiple bits of storm damage. Of course, this tree fell a long time ago, but big elm, which we don't have a lot of really big elms anymore. I guess it was it a Dutch elm disease that came through? It's been a problem. Willis, you're gonna swamp those boots. But yeah, this one root wad and all right on the cross fence. So yeah, it didn't take us long to find one that affected fence. So we're not even gonna worry about the cross fence right now. I don't even know what we would do with it. And then we got some more stuff. Looks like out of some of these willows, they had a top come down. Yeah, just some tops breaking off out of some of these willows. But yeah, they were saying, like, when the alerts went off, you know, on your phone, there was severe thunderstorm warning. They were saying 80-mile-an-hour winds is what we expected. I don't know if it was ever confirmed, you know, how high wind we actually had. But well, speaking of cow death, I'm just trying to walk over here and look at this storm damage. And she's wanting to, you know, false charge me. But yeah, there's some more storm damage, which this one did fall harmlessly in the woods. But I believe, unfortunately, for my recreational pleasure, I believe that's a hickory that I've shot quite a few squirrels out of. I absolutely hate this. Almost would have rather found a random tree up there on the fence. Yeah. That's a tree, and I thought when I saw it, it's usually loaded with hickory nuts.
We're coming in here because nuts are gone.
In fact, some of the first squirrels I ever shot, I think it was on a squirrel hunt with Kimber, were probably out of this tree. We're just across the ridge from the house. See, that's a sad one. Not much we can do about it, Willis, but that was a good squirrel killing tree. Oh, well, here as we stand here, barely a month away from the start of squirrel season.
Grow some more oak trees.
Oak trees, they'll cut, you know, some acorns, but they really like those hickory. Mixed up another tank of chemical there in our sprayer. As we ride back here, you'll see if maybe we could show you one of these calves would demonstrate how it works. Probably won't. This is their first time ever, you know, even seeing this contraption that is a creep feeder. But we can at least demonstrate how the cows can't get to it. Cows know what it is. They've all seen it before. Like I say, I got the sprayer mixed up. Seems like that's all I've been doing for the last month, so I'm not gonna film a lot of that, but it is a good time to remind you, you can go to agzaga.com, get you one of these made in the USA ag sprayers, all sorts of different boom types. This is, even though it is a boom, it is considered the boomless. But they got actual traditional boom arms to go on there. You just gotta check it out. Rake parts, bail net wrap. I mean, I can't list you everything they do. Custom hose. You just gotta check it out. Go to agzaga.com. Remember, when you check out, use the discount code HCF10 to take 10% off. But we're gonna do some spraying. I knew if we waited long enough, one of these calves would get brave and check it out. Yep, number 236 done walked in there, stuck her nose in, and is figuring it out. Y'all need to follow her example, okay? Get in there and get you a bite. All right, we're gonna spray out the rest of this tank, and then I need to mow the yard. It's another thing the rain has kept me from being able to do all week. We're about 4 or 5 days behind, and hey, if the yard got much taller, we were gonna put the disc mower on the tractor and cut it to bale. Okay, I just now realized we're about out of fuel. I got about a half a tank, and my fuel cans are all empty. I was actually planning on doing that this evening, going to town and getting those filled up. Oh, so yeah, we're gonna play a little bit of Russian roulette with the fuel gauge. Or I should say we're playing a little Russian roulette of what runs out first, the sprayer tank or the fuel tank, because I really don't want to park this thing and leave it. I mean, I could just run to town and go ahead and get fuel, but my plan was when we park it, I'm probably not gonna spray anymore today. So yeah, I'd rather go ahead and run the fuel sprayer tank out before we run the fuel tank out. Well, we ran the sprayer out before we ran the fuel tank out. Only question that remains is, do we have enough fuel to make it back to the barn? Probably a half mile. We'll see. Well, we had enough fuel to get back up here. So we're gonna leave that thing parked until I get the fuel cans filled up and get it topped off. But it's now nearly 3 o'clock. Like I think I mentioned earlier, I need to mow the yard. Yeah, my ultimate plans this past week were rake that hay on Tuesday, bale it on Wednesday, and then I was gonna mow the yard on Thursday because it was not supposed to rain until like Thursday night into Friday morning, which it did rain Thursday night into Friday morning, then again Friday afternoon. But we caught that earlier rain on Tuesday that was not forecasted. So yes, I am. And in reality, the yard probably could have been mowed on like Monday. But anyway, y'all don't want to see that. Y'all have to check back with us. Catch us using the new tractor here in the near future. Probably as soon as tomorrow, so that'll be in our next video. Yeah, appreciate y'all watching. Again, First Choice, what is it? First Choice Lawn and Tractor? First Choice Farm and Lawn. I always call them First Choice Kubota, but in reality, they carry a bunch of different brands. Really incredible store. When I went and visited their local store, they call it the Memphis store, but it's in Eads, kind of rural Shelby County, Tennessee. I was utterly amazed at just all the equipment, hay equipment, lawn equipment, construction equipment, tractors. I mean, they had far more inventory there than I would have ever imagined. But check them out. Buddy Craig, again, sells for them out of that store. Agzaga.com, as always. discount code HCF10. The Talk Dirt to Me podcast. The podcast has really exploded. Logan has been super excited about that, as have I. He's just more involved on the analytics side over there, really pushing that hard. So yeah, check us out anywhere you listen to podcasts. Talk Dirt to Me. There's links in the description, just like everywhere. It's on YouTube, so you're already on YouTube right here. You can play those. You're doing a really cool giveaway too with the podcast. I'm not going to tell you what it is here. You got to go listen to the podcast if you want to know. But we're closing in on a big milestone for us. So check that out. Yeah, I think that's it. Y'all eat beef and God bless.